Welcome to Classical Chats. I'm Tiffany. I'm a classical pianist, also the host of this series where I talk to all kinds of people who love classical music. Also the founder of Together with Classical, but you probably know that by now. Today we have David Wilkins, who is an amateur musician, and he formed a amateur classical musicians group in Philadelphia. I'm curious to hear how his journey started with classical music and what led him to forming a group like this.
I'm very excited and very happy to be talking with you. It's
Yeah?
been a real pleasure following your channel.
Thank you so much. I mean, I think what you're doing is also very interesting and great, especially in these times to keep music alive. But
Yeah,
yeah, let's start from the beginning though. I ask every single one of my classical chats guests this question. How did your journey with classical music begin?
it really began I was about 14 or 15. I started getting interested in classical music. I had piano lessons when I was very young, but it didn't really take, if you know what I mean. I was just too young
Sometimes it
for it.
doesn't stick, yeah.
But yeah, sometime around then, and around 15, I started taking lessons. And so I've been playing pretty much consistently ever since then.
Oh wow.
Um,
So did you see yourself going into music as a career path, or was it something that just was like a friend in your life?
I mean, it's always been part of me, but I never thought that I had the ability to do it professionally.
Mm.
It's a terribly tough career, and I got a late start. And I have, as much as I love the piano and I enjoy practicing, it's very slow for me to overcome technical problems. Like I watch your videos and you overcome stuff in 5 minutes that would take me weeks if I could ever
Oh,
do it.
everyone
So
does it in different ways, and
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
actually, to be honest, I'm not the most technical pianist, and I know that there are others who can nail every single note, every jump, every run, and I'm just not that kind of person. It's your journey, so and it's going to be different, and it's okay.
yeah.
But you stuck with it. You still
I
kept it. What made you kept playing?
well, I fell in love with it. I mean, there was a time. It was first it was the Beethoven piano sonatas,
Mm.
which is what originally I really wanted to learn.
But so Beethoven was the reason that, or was the kind of music that drawn you into classical music, and how fitting for 2020.
Oh yeah, it's a shame all of the
Yeah.
Beethoven concerts got canceled. It's really terrible.
But then a lot of them are going to come back in 21, so maybe it's become a 2 year celebration rather than one. So maybe that's possibly one way to look
That
at
would
it.
be. I was into playing for folk music for a while, folk dance music. I did some rehearsal piano for musical theater, which was absolutely fun, just
Imagine.
wonderful.
Yeah. I guess you just kept playing because you fell in love with classical music and you don't see yourself
Oh,
stopping.
oh yeah, and I love playing the piano. I enjoy practicing. I really like the challenge of it.
Hmm.
It's something that never gets boring because there's always going to be something new to work on.
Right.
Um,
And there's so much
and
repertoire for piano, especially.
oh, especially for piano, yeah, and chamber music.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Hey, maybe that's a
but
nice segue into what you're doing. You are having amateur musicians
okay,
together and playing music together, right?
yes.
How did that get started?
Well, a few years ago, about I don't know, eight or so years ago. Um, well, for one thing, I finally bought myself a nice piano, and then I wanted people to play with. And I didn't really know anyone in the area, and so I went out on Meetup, and I was looking to see if there were any groups in the area involving, this kind of music. And there weren't in the area. There was a group in DC and there's a group in New York, but there wasn't anything in the area. And I was like, okay, if nobody else is doing it, I'm going to give it a shot. I knew there was a need for it, and it turned out there was, and I got some help. I mean, Meetup finds you people, and then I contacted the ACMP in New York.
What does
The
that stand for?
The ACMP, I think it used to stand for Amateur Chamber Music Players. I think now it stands for Associated Chamber Music Players, but it's a group out of New York that has been around for a long time. They have a catalog of amateur chamber music players. So they let me, contact people in the region. And then I had another contact in the, so, before I knew it, I had 50 members
That's
in the
great.
group. And we had a couple meetings, and it was, what do you want to do? And what people wanted to do was basically just get together in someone's house and play. And we had a volunteer who had a large house with a piano and several rooms we could break out into. And it's been going since then. It's been about 7.5 years
Oh,
that
wow.
we've been going. And we've had about, I think, 80 some meetings
That's great.
in that time.
So almost once a month? Or
It was once a month for a while. Then we went to once every other month for the last couple of years. And then since COVID started, it's been irregular, but and we've moved online. We've been doing it on Zoom.
what's that experience like, going from playing live and playing Zoom? Because I actually
Well,
don't have this experience.
well, you can't play together on Zoom because of the lag time. And I did a lot of experimenting with an app called Jamkazam, getting it to consistently work without the lag time. We haven't been able to do. So I kind of put that on the shelf. Maybe at some point that'll come back. But playing on Zoom, we did one, well, for a while we were just meeting on Zoom, getting together to talk and keep in touch. We did one play-in where we just had people playing solo from their own homes. I wanted to tell you something about that. The piece that I played for my friends there was the Mozart Sonata K282, the third movement, because you put out a practice video.
Oh, that inspired you to play it.
It absolutely did.
Oh,
I
that's
looked
so
at
great.
that practice.
It's a fun piece.
I looked at that practice video and I said, that looks like fun. I can do that. And, of course, I don't sound anything like you in it, but
I don't sound like some other pianist either. That's so great that you were inspired to pick it up.
It was very nice. And the practice videos have been really, I learn a lot from listening to them. I really do.
Thank you.
I just see your thought process and no, it's a great, but I just wanted you to know that you've already had a little effect on my group, because they got to hear a piece of music that I would not have played had I not seen that video.
That's
so
great.
Thank you for that.
No, I mean, I'm very happy to hear that. Do you find yourself, how do you find music actually usually to play?
Before COVID, not counting COVID, when we would meet, what I would do, basically, I tell people, bring your instrument, bring a music stand, bring any music that you might want to play. And we usually get about 10 people coming out. And at the beginning of the meeting, we just go around the room and we introduce, and what instrument do you play and what music did you bring? And we just put it together on the spot. And we usually break out into 3 groups or something. And there are people who have piles of music and know what they want to play. And there are other people who come who are just, put something on the stand in front of me and I'll be happy to play it. I don't care what it is, So it always seems to work out.
Well, sometimes the music just brings everyone together and everyone just kind of knows where their parts are and how they fit in.
I don't know. It somehow works out, and I just try and see that everybody gets a chance to play. And my view of the group is that social networking comes first before the music. So I try and be as inclusive as I can. You have to be able to play an instrument, but I'm not, it's just come play, just
Mhm.
come sit down and play. And we get all range of people. We get some very, very good amateur musicians, and even some ringers come out once in a while who are really good. Um, and we have people come out who've, they've had lessons and they can play the instrument, but they've never done this before. And sometimes someone will say to me, is it okay if I just come and listen? I don't know if I can do this. And I say, well, that's okay, but bring your instrument just in case you find that you want to play when you get here,
Mhm.
because they always do,
Ah.
every single time. There's never been someone who's come and they're immediately, oh, all right, let me get my violin from my car. I want to be in on this. And it's just it's been tremendously rewarding
Yeah,
for
it
me.
sounds like
I mean,
wonderful energy and a great environment to just be there to play for music and for each other to just have some fun.
it is, and I've made friends through this, like many friends through this, and I've seen what it can do to bring people out and just give them an opportunity to get connected. It's been great for me. I mean, being able to get the experience and get connected to things going on in the area. Um, and it's really something that could be done anywhere. Meetup makes it easier. There are probably other platforms that do similar things, but it just takes wanting to do it. Anyone could do it anywhere, basically.
Do you have any
Uh,
advice or something that you took away from having brought people together for 7+ years?
give it a go and figure it out. That's all. That's all that I did.
Go for it.
Um, yeah, and really, the people in my group told me what they were looking for,
Hmm.
and I followed that for the most part. And I've tried other things. I mean, I've had a few events where I've brought in a professional to do a master class in chamber music, and those have been very popular. Um, Sometimes I've put on, just dedicated performance opportunities where people can play for each other whatever they've been working on.
Hmm.
Um, and those, I mean, those have been popular, not as much, but people do appreciate that opportunity. I would just say how rewarding it is to do something like this,
Hmm.
and encourage anyone who might be looking for it, to give it a try. I mean, COVID's not going to last forever. Um, and at some point, people will be back to playing together. And I can't tell you how much I miss that, but
Yeah.
we'll get there.
Yeah, I missed that too.
We'll
One of
get
my
there again.
performances just got postponed again for the second time. I was supposed to play with an orchestra in Salzburg. So, and now everything is, all the cases are going up. So it's very
I
different
know.
to play in front of a live audience than to play to yourself. But I mean, I'm still very lucky, so I don't have much to complain about. And I still have this guy here. So,
Yeah,
lots of
and you're doing the Dream Stage thing, which I
yeah.
have a ticket to, which I'm
Oh,
looking forward
thank
to.
you so much. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to
Um,
it. I haven't played Mozart in a long time. Mozart concertos I haven't played in a long time. Well, I don't know if you're comfortable sharing this, but I'm kind of curious what backgrounds people usually are as amateur musicians. Do you find a lot of scientists or doctors or lawyers, or
um,
there are like certain professions? Because personally, my audience, I find a lot of engineering students or engineering people somehow coming back to classical music. So that was just something that I was curious about, if there was certain job or professions that.
I have not noticed a pattern particularly, not that I ask.
May I ask what field you're in?
I was a computer systems analyst.
Mm. See, it's in a
Yeah.
computer tech engineering, that kind of field. I get a lot of that. I don't know why.
Um, a lot of people come to music through math.
How so through math? Because I know there's the stereotype that musicians are good at math, but.
Well, I mean, there's an aspect of music that's very mathematical,
Mm,
patterns and rhythms and relationships like
mm.
that. But people come to it from everything.
I think it's great that the music is what brings everyone together and what drove you to want to do this. And I think it's great when you just play for the music, not necessarily for the income or anything else, but just the music. And I think that's great. Thank you.
Well, it's been my pleasure.
Thank you for watching this episode. It's very interesting to hear from amateur musicians and how much they just love classical music so much that they just want to get together and play for the music. I think that's really beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe for more episodes of Classical Chats. I really look forward to having more and more guests here. So the more we grow as a community here, the more excited people will be in coming on. So thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.